Dear learners, today we are going to see one of the important topic by most of the psychologists looking for, that is positive psychology. Myself, Dr. Suresh Kumar, the faculty, the Department of Psychology, American College, Madurai. Positive psychology. There are two words, positive and psychology, as we all know that what is psychology. Psychology is scientific study of behavior, mental process, and our experiences. Positive psychology looking only the positive component of these behavior or how we are thinking and the positive experiences of human beings. So positive psychology is about one's important component. We are looking only the positive component. I'm going to begin with one of the important definition in positive psychology, which was given by Peterson. He is a renowned positive psychology. He said that positive psychology is a scientific study of what makes life most worth living. We are living, there are many people will comment that they are living for a namesake, but some they will say that they are living for their worth, the living is worthful. They are something helpful to somebody else. So if you do living like that, that your life is called worth living. So positive psychology is studying about such a behavior, such a life of an individual. And another definition, we can call him as a father of positive psychology. His name is Martin Seligman. He told that positive psychology is scientific study of human strength and virtues. There are six virtues are there. There are many strengths are there. For example, wisdom, courage, humanity, transcendence, justice, and moderation. So there are many models is there. We will see one by one when we are discussing about in detail about human strength and virtues. The Martin Seligman said that if you study these virtues and human strength, that is positive psychology. And Paul Wong is a renowned positive psychologist who said that positive psychology cannot be confined to any dogmas or carved in stones because it is always subject to influence by new creative ideas. It is changes to one to another. And it is pursuing human needs. It is pursuing human needs. Every human being want to be being positive, and everyone want their behavior in a positive manner, and they're thinking in the positive way, and changing circumstances. It's very important. Our living, our behavior, our way of thinking, our way of perception, our way of experiences are influenced by the environment. So he said that it is not already pre-written one, it is unchanging one, it is a creative one. So these positive psychology influenced by new creative ideas, pursuing human needs. For example, we are in that crisis time, like COVID-19 or any other pandemic. We are working on it to overcome the problem by developing some of the vaccines or intervention strategies to overcome the problem. So these things, when we explore, that is called positive psychology. And positive psychology focuses positive events and influences, including positive experiences, for example, happiness and joy, inspiration, and love. So these are the things called positive experiences. So every one of us, we are having that both experiences, but this positive psychology only focus on that happiness, joy, inspiration, and love, the positive emotions alone. And when come to that positive state or positive traits, positive psychology give priority to the gratitude. There are many of you, we practicing it in our day-to-day life, but we don't know the impact it made on the human behavior and human thinking. So we have to understand that these positive traits, gratitude has a huge impact on many components. I will tell you some of the benefits. One is health improves, our immune system will be improved, and your sleep pattern will be improved, and you feel that more comfortable, your happiness will be elevated, or you feel good in different situations. So it is one of the important component of practicing gratitude and resilience. Every one of us, we face crisis once in our lifetime, but many, they will fall down. It takes many time, more time, but some people, they come back very quickly. Resilience, coming back to the normalcy when doing that your routine work. So it is very important, this positive psychology, insisting developing these resilience, positive trait, and compassion. It's very important. Human beings are there are many comments, other positive comments and negative comments. We have to think about that. There are some people are destroying, and at the same time, we can see that there are many people are helping and preserving the nature. So compassion is very, very important, and we have to practice that. Traits must be instilled in our human beings. And it not only studies about the personality trait of an individual, it also studies about the environment, positive institution, like applying positive principles in entire organization and institution. For example, some of the institutions, they are having that positive institution, and in that vision and mission and their objective itself, they will fix it. So every one of us, we are having that positive experiences, we are having that positive personality and positive environment. When we make these three components, and we can ensure that positive in each and every places, and when we can see that positive behavior in an individual who come out from these environments, and we can see that common distinction between that positive psychology and clinical psychology. Positive psychology, which focuses on flourishing and well-being, strength and meaning of an individual, but at the same time, clinical psychology, which focuses on repairing that problem, healing and disorder and illnesses. It studies about disorder and illnesses and try to repair and healing that illnesses and disorders. So there is a huge difference is there. It is an opposite to clinical psychology. So positive psychology is about for that people who is normal to practice positive practices to become a better human being in the world by flourishing, well-being, and the strength and meaning of finding meaning in their life. And here I'm going to talk about the father of positive psychology, Martin Seligman. He was born in August 12, 1942 at New York. Seligman is a lead educator in America, and he is a very good researcher and author of several best-selling books that makes positive psychology accessible to everyone. And I can say that because of his most written books on positive psychology, many people who are aware about what is positive psychology. And he served as a director of clinical training program at the University of Pennsylvania for more than 14 years. He worked revolved around the topics learned helplessness, positive psychology, depression, resilience, optimism, and pessimism. And Martin Seligman, he had an education in different field. For example, after graduation in philosophy in 1964 at Princeton, Seligman earned his PhD in psychology in 1967 at the University of Pennsylvania. In 1998, he was declared as the president of American Psychological Association. We call it an APA. One of his primary activities was to encourage positive psychology as a field of scientific study. I think we all know that psychology has some different areas and different fields. He argued that positive psychology is a scientific study. He conducted many studies and tried to prove, give evidence to all the findings he suggested. And Martin Seligman had I think, voracious writer and reader also. He wrote many books. He is the author of around 20 self-help books. As he said in the beginning, positive psychology was known to many people. It is because of his writings. And more than 250 articles, The Science of What Makes His Life Worth Living. And several of his topics include The Optimistic Child in 1995, Abnormal Psychology, it is on different editions are there, Authentic Happiness in 2002, the most selling, and then Flourish. It was published by Free Press in 2011, Learned Optimism in 1991 along with Knopf, and the lesser known but great read, What You Can Change and What You Can't in 2007. It is the most selling book of Martin Seligman. And Martin Seligman, as I said, he is the one who discovered, for example, we all know that classification of mental health disorders, DSM. So that is he want to prepare a positive trait, and we have to prepare that. He worked on that, and he classified manual called Character, Strength, and Virtues that focuses on what can right instead of what can go wrong. That is a specialty. Instead of why you focus on the negative component, he insisted that we have to focus on the positive component, the character, strength, and virtue. This classification manual, Character, Strength, and Virtues, consist of 6 classes of virtues and include 27 character strength. Today, the manual functions as a positive counterpart to the diagnostic statistical manual of mental disorder. We shortly call it on DSM. While the DSM studies the insanities, but Seligman character strength offers a review of the traits that influences well sanity. It never studies about insanity, it studies about well sanity. So he developed a counterpart to that clinical psychology. He tried to give a priority to that positive component of a human being, and he classified that positive strength. And if we focus on positive strength, we will not give space to the negative components. And Martin Seligman, he opened different important components. One of the important area he contributed is on learned helplessness. The most famous work of Martin Seligman is on a research on the theory of learned helplessness. What is learned helplessness? Learned helplessness, the terms physically an organism learning to accept and endure unpleasant stimuli and unwilling to avoid them even when it is avoidable. I will give an example. I think you may see elephant in temples, almost in Kerala, which is most of the place we can find out. And the person who will rear that elephant and he will control over it, he will call as a pahan. Okay, when that when the small elephant was there, they will tie their leg with that strong chain with that tree. And when it is try to come out from that chain, there will be a wound will be there in the leg. So it will never try to get out from the chain. But when the elephant, when that small elephant become a very big one, and it has a very easily it can come out from the chain, but it will not try because it learned if you take that leg, it will be wound and the pain will be more painful. So the elephant will not try. That is called learned helplessness. The idea behind this theory of learned helplessness is that animal can be conditioned to think that they have no control over or outcome of the situation that they are in, even when they actually do have the power to help themselves. Actually, they can come out, but they will not try it. That is the specialty of learned helplessness. Many people we are not trying for new things. We are conditioned to that only one component, and we will be stick on that. This occurs when it will occur when they are repeatedly presented with an hour stimuli. As I said, the pain given to that the chain to that animal, it will not never try again. They cannot escape. The theory can also be applied to human beings who think they can control change a situation and miss opportunities that make them feel helpless. It's very important. We all know that even human being also, even we may have that alternative which may not more painful, more not aversive. We never try to do that also. And we see that these people may more likely to develop a mental illness, the learned illness people, such as clinical depression is very common among the people because they may not come out from that chain. So these findings leads to a lot of other related studies that have helped psychologists understand the basis of depression. See, the learned helplessness is a wonderful component. He introduced in the field of positive psychology when he was studied. But these studies will help the people who are working in the clinical science setting. They know that how the depression develop in an individual. Seligman used his knowledge and learning helplessness by working with military to increase the psychological health of soldiers. And the rate of soldiers suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, he worked on that in military people and how they can come out from that post-traumatic stress disorder. His research helped a lot. And Martin Seligman, he developed a model called PERMA. PERMA model is a very popular model. When you study about positive psychology, you come to know that. I will tell you about what is P. P means positive emotions, E means engagement, R means relationship, M means meaning, A means accomplishment. And his model is very popular and very widely used in that developing positive quality in an individual. And I think we will discuss detail about in the another session. I'm going to give that outline only. But one, we have to understand that this, according to Martin Seligman, this model can be applied to anyone, and it can be fulfilled by any time. So that is an important contribution of this Palma model. He insisted when you want to attain your potential, you can use this model. And Martin Seligman has a contribution to many components. One of the how he given this contribution. He is a founder of Positive Psychology Center at the University of Pennsylvania. And there he promoted a research training on education related to positive psychology. And there are many, as I said, he tried to provide evidences to all the positive psychological researchers. So he conducted a lot of research and he supported, there are many researchers where uh, still now it is supporting his findings. And not only his center is promoting research training and education, he dissemination of positive psychology to various wherever he go there, and he create an awareness about positive psychology. He insisted that the importance of positive psychology, and he insisted that qualities, positive traits such as resilience, grit, how it should be developed, why it should be developed, the importance of developing these qualities. He insisted wherever he go. So today I given that brief outline about understanding about positive psychology. And the next session, we will discuss about a lot more about positive psychology. Friends, thank you so much for listening to me. I hope the Department of Psychology, American College, will give you quality inputs. If you have any questions related to my presentation, we can contact me at my email ID, Suresh Kumar 800 at yahoo.com. Thank you so much. We will meet again in one more video. Thank you. Thank you all.